Just one more time, I will show you this routing of the cable through the base plate is where we're trying to avoid. As soon as the screw goes through this hole, which comes from the bottom, if you remember, as you take the screws off the bottom, it actually holds onto the bezel. There's a brass piece on the bezel which uses to sandwich the cable and damage it. Now, damage will not always be seen. It may be internal, so be very, very cautious. I'm going to show you now, if that you do come across this problem, we're going to disconnect this cable in a straight fashion so the pins don't get bent inside this connector. It's very critical. And we're going to pop the main board out, okay, and have a look, make sure the routing of the wireless cable is routed correctly and it's not going to interfere with us. Once that is done, we will reconnect this cable with the silver parts facing up into the motherboard so that it goes in as straight as it came out. Okay, so it has to be sitting there flush. If it's not flush, that means pins inside may be bent and damaged. Now, as you notice, this cable, it has a long lead on it. Once we place the motherboard back inside the base plate, we then turn around and route the cable under the cable clamp, with same as where the wireless antenna is set. And now on this particular unit, it's actually the 3G antenna, as we discussed. We ran the cable under there and back over behind the little pin that's back here. We follow the same path as the antenna cable. We have any excess cable, that excess cable will live inside the gap of the hinge here, so there's plenty of room for it to move. When placing the bezel back on, you remember there's plenty of room here for it. Don't forget about these little clips at the back. You place the bezel back on here. Remember, it's not an easy task. Okay. As the bezel goes on, clamp that down, get the back down. You'll notice there's still plenty of room for the cable. Any excess will be on the end. We then grab a cap, and when seating caps, same thing. All the excess cable will be sitting inside where the cap goes. That will then allow us plenty of room for it to open and close. Now, without anything holding it down,